Hello everyone, I'm Robin Gautam. In today's lesson, I am going to demonstrate how we can integrate Jenkins with Git and AWS. Follow along with me till the end of the video. The hands-on lab that we are going through will make a lot of sense. But first, let's get started with some basic theories. So, what is Jenkins? It is an open source continuous integration and continuous delivery or deployment tool, which was originally named as Hudson. And the reason why Jenkins is widely famous is it supports large number of plugins to support different set of applications. So what are the similar tools like Jenkins? The similar tools like Jenkins are Travis CI, Bamboo, Circle CI, and TeamCity. And we have a lot more similar tools as well, but these are the most common ones. So what is continuous integration? Continuous integration continuously merges their changes back to the main branch as often as possible, and it runs automated tests against the build. It provides a great emphasis on testing automation to check that the application is not broken. So one of the most commonly asked questions on the interview, what is the difference between continuous deployment and delivery? So continuous delivery is an extension of continuous integration to make sure that you can release new changes to your customer quickly in a sustainable way. Continuous deployment goes one further step than the continuous delivery. In continuous delivery, you need a manual intervention. But in continuous deployment, you do not need any manual intervention. Every change that passes all stages of the production pipeline is released to the customer in continuous deployment. In continuous delivery, you can decide to release daily, weekly, fortnightly, or whatever suits your business needs. So after we are gone through these basic theories, let's go back to EC2 Management Console. So once I am into EC2 Console, I'm going to launch one instance at first. Since I'm going to do some good amount of computation with Jenkins master, I think I need t2.small because it may hang up if I do t2.micro. So once we are into here, you can choose the default, but I am choosing my custom network. And the size, the 8 GB size may not actually be enough. I have extended it to 12 GB. And let me give it a name called Jenkins Master. So I'll choose the default where I have included port 80 is not actually required, but you need to include port 8080 and port 22 for sure. So I'll launch this instance, and here I'll select the git bash key. So you know this is in pending status. Let's go ahead and go back to our github.com. So I'll provide the link of this in the description below. So what you can do is you can first clone it in the local. So I'm inside my desktop. Let me do git clone. So once I have cloned that thing, what you can do is you can see if that really exists. So we can see we have cloned it successfully. So I'm gonna launch, I'm gonna SSH over there. Okay, since our master is here, I'm gonna copy the IP and SSH into the master. So here you can go over OPT and clone the same thing again. So here you can clone this same thing again. Git clone over here. It says git command not found. So let's go ahead and install git. Sudo yum install git -y. So once we have done that, we can see nothing. Pretty much we have just installed git. We can do git version. We'll see git is installed successfully. So let me clone it again. It says permission denied. Sudo. You can see I have this repo CI/CD integration. Let's go inside that repo and let's run this install tomcat jenkins.sh. It may take a couple of minutes to go through this configuration. So once we have our Jenkins and Tomcat successfully installed, let's verify it. Let's do sudo systemctl status tomcat.service. You can see it's active and running. So let's go and tail the log. So I went to the root user, and in the root user you can see there is a folder called var log tomcat, and here you can let me do long list. Here you can see the today's state, Catalina 2020 0204. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tail it var log tomcat and this thing. You can see Jenkins is fully up and running. So let's go and start our Jenkins over here, port 8080/Jenkins. So we have our initial admin password in this path. So let's go and cat this path. I'm going to hit Ctrl+C for this, clear, and you are going to see the initial admin password. You can copy this password and paste it over here and continue to the Jenkins home page. So before that, you will see the install suggested plugin option. So you can also install the selected plugins, but let's go ahead and install suggested plugins. It might take a minute or two. So once we are gone through that steps, you need to create a username, password, and you need to enter the full name and email address. So let's go ahead and do that. Remember, keep the password that you can always remember, because you may need to come back again. So you can see the good little message over here saying welcome to Jenkins. So let's create a new item. So you can create a freestyle project or the pipeline. First we are going to through the freestyle project which is most commonly used as well. So let me click on here and type freestyle. So once you are here, you can see you have a lot of options over here. I'm not gonna go over each and everything, but I'm gonna show what are the most useful one. So you can see we have source code management. You can select on Git, and you can select the repository URL that you want to do. So why not, let's do some exercise. So on the repo, on your repo, you can go over and maybe create a new repo. So on your GitHub, you can go ahead and create a new repo. Let's create demo repo for Jenkins. All right. So inside here, I have this clone link where I can copy this thing, or I can even copy this thing, whatever you want, and include it over here. And in credentials, you can include Jenkins, and username you can provide any random username, and password I need to give. Let me give password at the global level so it applies for every repositories. So on here settings, on the global level settings, you can go to developer settings, and on developer settings go to personal access token. Since I already had one generated, I'm going to delete it and generate a new one, and I'm going to give it a check mark on the repo which keeps most of every permission below it. So I'm going to generate a token. You can see this token. So once you close this space, you are not able to access this again. So if you think you need this further, you must save it. But for now, I'm going to quickly copy this and paste it on my password over here. I'll say this is my Git token, and I'll copy this over the description and add it, and I'll keep here Git token. Once I have added it, you can see there's a branches to build. It specifies which branch you really want to build. So if I had different branches, I could specify which branch I want to trigger the build from. For now, we just going to leave it as master for this repo. So you can see the different options over here. So I'm going to go over a few of them. Here you can see build periodically. So what does this mean? Is despite the fact that you have any changes in your repo or not, it's going to trigger a build. So what do I mean by that is your repo might be consistent. There might not be any new changes to it, but having done this build periodically for every minute, it's gonna build for every minute, no matter you have some changes or not, right? So let me go ahead and save it, and you can see that it will start building within a minute. See, the build has started. So now this thing builds every minute, no matter what. So maybe that's not what we want. So we can go back to the configure, and let's avoid that check mark over here. Let's say we don't want to build every minute. We want to build only every minute if there is certain changes in our repo. So I'm going to save this. So what does this mean is only build after a minute if there is certain change in my repo. So let me make certain change in my repo then. let me go back to my repo, demo repo for Jenkins. Now in here, let me click the pencil sign and edit something. Let me do hello world and commit. So you must see after a minute it must trigger a build. Since we have made some changes in the readme file, it must trigger that after a minute. See, the build has been triggered. Now there is one more option that seems to be cool for me. You can go back to configure, so there is a thing called GitHub webhooks. So what does this mean is, now we knew that we can build every minute or within a certain schedule of time that we want using build periodically, which doesn't care if you have made certain changes in your repo or not. But the Poll SCM is only gonna build if there is certain changes in your repo. But you have specified here, do these things only within a minute after something is triggered. But what if you want to do immediately after something is triggered? So there is a thing called GitHub webhook. So let me go ahead and show you how to set up that webhook. So let us go to our repo. Let us go to our settings at the repo level, and on the left hand side you can see webhooks. So here I'm going to say add webhooks. Now after you are in this page, you are going to enter the IP, the entire link of Jenkins over here. Also include the GitHub webhooks parameter. Webhook, it's not hooks, it's just hook. GitHub-webhook. Make sure you have typed it correctly and choose application JSON. And let's add it. If you have this set up correctly, you must see a tick mark over here. So you can see the tick mark, it's set up correctly. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to go back to my repo. Let's say I want to edit this file. If I make certain changes in this file, then it must trigger another build. So I'm going to hit 2 backspace and commit the changes. And let's see whether it triggers a build immediately or not. See, we have the build triggered immediately. So that's the cool thing about webhooks. So once we are gone through these things, I'm gonna also show what else is possible over here. Then we are going to move on to pipeline projects. So here you can see there are furthermore cool things possible, that you can include a build step and also include post build action if you want to send certain email notification or do any test report. For now I'm going to show how to execute a sale. So you can do something like this. Bash. Let me do let's just do echo hello everyone, this is CloudYeti. So if I have this certain message echo, just a echo message, let me apply and save and build it. Now it's not going to build it because this I have set up at the job level, not at the repo. So I should manually trigger this build. So you can see that message must be printed over here. Hello everyone, this is CloudYeti. So this is the cool thing about how we can do various things in freestyle projects.